So you clicked this looking for a tutorial on how to animate, right? Well, let me just say it's going to be really scuffed. So we're talking more like this. And not so much like, you know, someone like Circle Tunes like this.
Hey guys, it's your boy Circle Tunes HD here, your favorite fingerless video game.
Or something like this.
I like that one.
What?
But more like along the lines of this.
Thankfully, you're a good Drifloon, right? Hey, what are you? No.
And it's really simple, actually. Animating isn't necessarily hard as much as it is tedious and very time consuming. So let me just show you how I make a video, and maybe you can get inspired to make your own. Animating can be done so many different ways. There's so many different programs, so many things you can pay for free. Whatever you want, you can work with it. But the universal first thing you need to do is come up with an idea. First, you come up with your idea, and then what do you do with that idea? I would recommend writing a script. Now, for most of mine, I don't even write a script, but if you need to keep yourself on track, write yourself a script. It'll help you out. Me? I use Google Docs, so this is what my script writing could look like. It's extremely scuffed, it doesn't make any sense, but it helps me understand who my characters are, what they're going to be saying, and what I can start to say when I record my lines. Speaking of which, after you get your script done, you should probably record your lines. Now, not every animation is going to have some kind of dialogue, but if you want it to look like my animations, you probably want some kind of dialogue to make it have that scuffed talking. Let me guess, you might not have a mic you feel comfortable using, you might be in a busy household, or you just are very insecure about your own voice. And that's completely okay. The whole point of animation is to say, hey, it doesn't matter what I sound like, it's all about the idea itself. When you watch any of my animations, they all look terrible and they sound awful. I'm terrible at making voices. Like, this is the best I got for a child voice.
Santa? Is that Santa? Of course, Santa, you do so much work.
And this is the best I could come up for a Santa. I didn't even try at all here. What the fuck is this? This is disgraceful. A truly shameful household. Now, what I use to record my voice lines is Audacity. It's a nice, free software you can use. But you can also use any other kind of software that lets you record your voice, such as Adobe Audition. But after you get everything recorded, I would then recommend you go into your drawing phase. For me, I like to use Photoshop when I draw, which I legally cannot tell you how I obtained. But let's just say I paid for it. Now, you can also use plenty of free things. If you wanted, you could even use MS Paint. If you're feeling really crazy, you don't even need to draw digitally. You could just use pencil and paper and then just take photos of it and edit with that. But when it comes to drawing, I definitely would recommend having some kind of tablet. You can just hook it right up to your PC and just start drawing. But not everybody's going to have a tablet, and I completely understand that. And that's why you can make it extra scuffed if you just go and draw with your mouse. It might take a little bit longer, but you're going to end up with some pretty decent results nonetheless as long as you put the effort in. For my animations, I typically don't do a lot of frames. Actually, I usually only draw one open, one closed, maybe a couple extra things here and there depending on the expressions that the characters have, and that's about it. See, I make animations that are maybe 30 seconds, 50 seconds, up to a minute, 2 minutes max usually, and I'm just repeating the same 4, 5, 6 frames over and over again, but it looks fine just because it's so choppy, it's so scuffed, it goes along with it. You see, it's not about the quality of the animation sometimes, it's about the quality of the idea. If you have a solid idea, it can make up for your crappy animation, but if you have a solid animation, it can make up for a crappy idea. You know, it just works that way. But then you can also say, if you've got a good voice acting, it doesn't even matter. You could just draw PNGs, put them on the screen, and just talk over it. I know a lot of people like to do that. You see, animation comes however you want to do it. If you think you don't want to animate very much, but you have a funny voice you want to do, draw something simple and do your funny voice over it. If you feel like you have a really good idea but you're not good at drawing, just draw it anyway and go for it. Maybe you've got a terrible voice and you suck at coming up with ideas. Just make a high quality animation and people would eat that shit right up. Now let's get back to actually animating. There are plenty of programs out there made specifically for animation where you can draw within it and then edit whatever you make and actually animate all in one program. Some people like to draw in one program such as Photoshop and import it to another program to edit it down. For me, I probably choose the most scuffed method of all. I take things I draw in Photoshop and then put them into an editing software not designed for animation whatsoever. But before we get into the editing software, Let's look at what we're doing to draw. Well, you're probably going to want to be organized. If you can make folders, make folders of your characters, your backgrounds, whatever you need, organize. This is going to help you significantly in the editing process. Never feel like you're drawing too much. The more you draw, the more you have available at your hands. If you want to draw just some really stupid stuff and just keep going with it, do it, because you might find something to sneak in with your voice recording, because you might have stuttered over something or said something the wrong way, and you can still put that voice line in along with some of these scuffed drawings you make and make it really entertaining. See, the way I look at animating for me isn't so much I'm animating, it's that I'm making a stop motion film. Which is a really weird thing to say, but that's the kind of mindset I have. It feels like I'm taking photos and I'm putting them in the order that I want rather than drawing in sequential order. But for me that just works because I'm constantly reusing the same drawings over and over and over again rather than making the next one to fill in the next frame. It's instead reusing the same frames. You know, you came here for scuffed advice. I'm not like Circle Tunes or Jaden Animations or anything. I'm here making the laziest, most simple animations I possibly can because I think that's really funny. Now, for some genuine advice, I would recommend coming up with an art style that feels like it's yours. Something that when you draw it, it screams you. It's what you want to make. Keep it simple. Keep it sweet. The simpler it is, the easier it will be to mass produce frames of it. For instance, look at my character. It's just a giant beak nose with some eyes on him. The simpler your art style, the easier it's going to be to color it in and also to make more frames. If you've seen the background footage, I'll lower the opacity of one frame then draw another one over it. The simpler your art style and drawing is, the easier it's going to be to copy over your frame of reference. It'll also just make it easier to get something out much faster than usual. It all depends on how much effort you're willing to put into the whole thing. Usually it takes a lot of effort to animate. Even this kind of stuff, it's going to take a lot of time and effort just to keep drawing and get it all done. But now let's remember, while we're still drawing, let's think ahead. If we're going to upload this animation somewhere, don't forget to draw a thumbnail for it. Make it clickbaity, make it look kind of interesting. Do whatever you think looks funny, really. And after we finish up with that, we're going to export all of our different drawings as PNGs. Or whatever equivalent you want to work with. Now we take it to our editing software. Now the way I do this is extremely scuffed and maybe shouldn't recommend this, but this is how I do it, baby. I go into Premiere and I take all my folders I make and I put them straight into Premiere. And now what I do is I shorten the length of each thing. Usually it's going to come out as a photo and it's going to give you about 5 seconds worth of it. So I just go in, double click it, hit my right arrow key once or twice, end it, and then it's just a couple frames long, if not 1 or 2. Now here's the thing, just because I'm using this fancy program of Adobe Premiere doesn't mean you can't do this. There's so many other programs out there that will do exactly what I'm doing, but for free, and that doesn't matter. As long as it works, it works. So all you have to do after that is just lip sync whatever you're doing. Just take your frames, put them in order. You can copy paste if you want. If you've got a lot going, you can do whatever you think looks good. And it's not hard, it's just very tedious at this point. You just gotta lip sync whatever you've got, match it with the photos, boom boom boom. And here's what I come up with so far of this video I'm working on. What the fuck is this? This is disgraceful. A truly shameful household. Right now, I'm trying to daily upload, so this animation isn't going to be done until tomorrow. So if you want to stick around and find out what that looks like, subscribe and like and all that good stuff. It'll be up tomorrow at some point. Other than that, I hope you found this somewhat interesting or inspiring. Don't forget, if you're trying to make something for YouTube, you should probably make your aspect ratio 1920 by 1080, that way you can fit the whole screen. Personally, that's what I use whenever I'm drawing and doing stuff. Now before I end this video, I do want to say this is day 6 of my daily uploads up till Christmas. I'm doing 25 days of daily uploads. If you are interested in seeing more content, stick around. Other than that, I'm going to play a collage in the background that I'm doing every single day to commemorate for every day that I do this. So I'm going to let that roll. Alright, see you around.